With the release of Season 6, we have a brand new meta and tier list, so I'm going to bring you the best 3 guns for each category today. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk about the ARs. So the ARs in the game have seen a little bit of an overhaul as they've continued to get their range pushed out further, meaning they're just a little bit more effective than they were over range, but not a lot's changed here in Season 6. Up first on the list, we have the STG. The STG is the powerhouse from Season 5. It's been nerfed twice now, and it is still absolutely one of the best ARs up to mid-range. This one dominates both inside of Urzikstan and on Rebirth Island, and this build is basically doubling down on what it does well. Good bullet velocity, good magazine size, a solid stock, and a good sight. You can obviously throw on the 50-round drum. Up second is the brand new, what I think, king of the long-range ARs. This is the Holger 5.56. It has a lot of universal usages, the Quartermaster, the Bruin, and the Choreo Eagle's Eye. These make a lot of the ARs the most that they can be, and if you want to drop it for something with a little bit more stability, you can drop it to the Jack Glassless. This thing still will fry across ranges. And then the final AR, this one is going to be the one that's going to be probably the king of Rebirth, comparatively the other two. This one is just a lot more aggressive. This is going to be the BP50, running the Quartermaster, Lore 9 heavy barrel, 45-round mag, the Trist grip tape, and the 4-bearer heavy stock. And that is probably the top 3 ARs. Honorable mentions here are going to be the Ball 27 is a solid secondary for an aggressive SMG style AR. It is pretty good. It has a few different builds, but it doesn't quite hold a candle to the effectiveness of the BP50. And then the SVA, this is a workhorse. It is absolutely insanely low recoil in the tap fire, so obviously if you like that one, go for it. And then if you're looking for a full auto option in the same premise, the Cast-Off 7.62 with the conversion kit is also a 0 recoil build. Those are just honorable mentions. They will work, but none of them have the best TTK in the class. Up next, we're going to be covering the SMGs. The SMGs, of course, are the cornerstone of Call of Duty. There's never been a Call of Duty that hasn't already had oppressive SMGs, and of course, Warzone is no different. So we're going to start off here with the Static. The Static is probably one of the most dominant SMGs right now because of not needing to equip a magazine and just starting with a base of 50. You can run this in a bunch of different options. This one is one of the least amount of recoil while still giving you a lot of good movement speed. The Quartermaster, Auger 840, Bruin Bash and Angle Grip, Jack Glassless, and the Spry. If you would like, you can drop the Glassless for a laser, but the iron sights are a little iffy. If those aren't for you, then obviously don't do that. And you can also take the no stock if you just want to push this thing to the absolute limit, but this is an overall really solid rounded out build, giving you good range, recoil control, and obviously I think this one just does everything best. Up next on the list, we've got the Superi. So the Superi is one of those guns that just absolutely just outruns everything. I'm running it with a 40-round mag right here because I think that's what most of you are going to want to run. But I personally, when I'm doing it myself, drop the 40-round mag and actually go for the 20-round mag. This thing can absolutely drop 2 different people with a 20-round mag if you're accurate. Otherwise, the 40-round mag is what I would recommend for anything up to trios and quads. This one has the fastest sprint speed in the game, sitting at 8.3, and then you can, of course, push it out even further when you run it with the 20-round mag, putting it to an 8.6. Nothing will get away from you on tac sprint. If you grab boots on big map, you obviously are going to catch anybody that's running from you. But with a 20 round, be accurate, but realistically, you don't even need that. You can run 30-round mag and then run a high grain if you want to push the range out further. Realistically, the Superi still does everything better than most everything in the game, so you really can't lose on most of the builds. And finally, my favorite SMG on the list, which is going to be the FJX Horus. Quartermaster, Bruin Tactical, Vertical. Do know that a lot of these grips don't actually work with this gun because they're glitched. They just will fall off of your gun when you go to get it, so the Bruin Tactical Vertical grip is your best choice on this. The 48-round mag and the 60-round mag have exactly the same stats. There is no reason not to run the 60. Just run the 60. This is an absolutely big mag, aggressive, but still good mid-range damage SMG. It does pretty much everything the best, along with the other two. It's pretty much comes down to personal preference, but these are the 3 best SMGs for your class, both Rebirth and inside of Urzikstan. And of course, we're gonna give a couple honorable mentions here. The AMR9 has seen quite a few buffs, and it's continuing to do pretty decent as a sniper support SMG, along with the Rival 9. The Rival 9 has also seen some buffs, and its conversion kit actually has one of the best TTKs in the game, but a lot of people struggle with burst. Even though it's a full auto burst, you just hold the trigger and it keeps firing, it still is just not gaining any ground with people. And then one of the ones that I think a lot of people are leaning towards, but still kind of falls out of favor a bit, is the Striker. And the Striker is technically one of the best in the game. It even does exceptionally well once you start getting into the sniper support category. The only problem is a low rate of fire and a naturally low bullet velocity leads to a lot of people suffering while trying to run the Striker. So if you want to run the Striker, it is still a very good choice. I just think the other three oftentimes provide a little bit more forgiveness, and I think overall perform better in more people's hands. Onto the battle rifle. We're going to talk about the one that's currently taking over Warzone, and it's going to be of no surprise to you that we're looking at, of course, or the D tier 30-06. And it is absolutely a monster. It did receive a nerf almost immediately, and it's still by far the best battle rifle in the game. Quartermaster, Sanctum 60, Bruin Tactical Vert, 40 round mag, and the Corio Eagle Eye 2.5. You're going to receive a gun that has absolutely no recoil for free. And the only downside to this gun right now is the amount of smoke and everything else that flies off the gun when you fire. So if you are suffering with that, I wish there was ways I could tell you how to fix that, but right now there is just nothing. It's just a super smoky gun. Up next is a gun that I've been enjoying quite a bit, and before the tier, it was what I was finding to be the most effective battle rifle consistently, and that is the TAC-V. The only downside to the TAC-V right now is that it has a very high initial kick, meaning that if you miss those first shots, you may be finding yourself flailing a little bit. I've attempted to run it with the Bruin Pivot and the Bruin Tactical. Both of them still have a little bit too much vertical at the very start, but the Bruin Pivot obviously allows a bit more, but it does hurt your horizontal a little bit and causes it to waggle. But this is still the second best battle rifle in the game right now. And the final and most lethal battle rifle in the game, I think, is the Sidewinder. Now, the Deter is obviously the most oppressive, and the TAC-V is really effective, especially with its big magazine. But the Sidewinder, I think, is probably the strongest battle rifle in the game and has been for a long time. A lot of people continue to sleep on this gun, and it is going to continue to be a monster in the right hands. In single shot, this weapon will do 100 damage to the head, meaning you can drop players in 3 bullets if you land 3 headshots in a row. And with the builds, it's actually pretty easy to do. They've smoothed out a lot of the recoil, and a lot of people have this negative idea of the battle rifles and the Sidewinder specifically because of their uncontrollable recoil. But realistically, the gun has finally slid into an extremely viable option right now, and if you haven't tried it yet, I'd recommend it. As far as honorable mentions go, inside of the battle rifle category, there's really not any. The Subverter does okay, the Boss B does okay, the MTZ does okay, and all of the Modern Warfare ones, for the most part, Modern Warfare 2 ones, are really lackluster. They have received buffs and stabilities and damage changes, and they still can't compete. The Modern Warfare 2 weapons in the battle rifle section just mostly fall extremely flat, even though things like the FTAC Recon sit with the fastest TTK in the game for a full auto and semi-auto weapon. It just can't compete. It just feels terrible and it performs poorly. Onto the shotguns. This probably won't be too terribly surprising, but first we have the Reclaimer 18. The Reclaimer 18 has solidified itself as one of the most versatile shotguns in the game for the ability to go into good ADS, good tac stance, single shot, or pump action as well. So this gun can pretty much do it all. This is, of course, the tac stance build, as it's the most effective and the fastest to go inside of the game. The build just prioritizes just being able to get on top of people and firing fast. This is the Bryson Choke, Discourage or Heavy Barrel, Bastion Angle Grip, Haste Grip, Tape, and No Stock. The second one is the Lockwood 680. It is still doing really well for itself inside of the meta, and I think that this one can compete with the Reclaimer if the player is just more comfortable with the 680. A lot of people run the stock start-off mod, but realistically, one of the things about the X10 Tactical, it tightens up that tac spread quite a bit and gives you pretty good reliable hipfire max spread as well, making it a little bit more reliable. It has the Express Light Bolt, the Chimera Laser, the Lockwood Defender to give you that massive 10 rounds, and then the Crown Breaker. And the Crown Breaker, I feel, is, even though the Bryson Choke does do a bit better of spreading it in, the Crown Breaker recently for me has made the tighter pellets on the tack stance, and so I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards it. But realistically, you can run the Bryson or the Crown Breaker, whichever one feels like it's treating you better. And then finally is the Rebirth King right now, and that is the Reclaimer 18 Jack Devastators. Now, these things are absolutely insane. The time to kill is 0 seconds if you land both shots on them at under 3 meters, and 320 up to 5. And these things are by far the most oppressive insta-kill things that you can run into inside of Rebirth Island right now. And so if you're looking for a shotgun class that is going to be the utmost powerful, just up close thing, this by far destroys everything. I would love to go into the idea of some honorable mentions, but realistically, all the shotguns in this game pretty much fall behind. You can run the Haymaker, the Haymaker's Conversion, or the Riveter, all of which you can find niches for, but for the most part, the Reclaimer and the Lockwood are taking care of everything. So stick with the Reclaimer, stick with the Lockwood, continue to win all your fights. Getting into the LMGs, we are gonna see a weird thing happening here. But first, we're gonna talk about the king of the LMGs right now, which is the Puliamot. The Puliamot right now absolutely devastates in almost every range with its extremely high damage and a very easy to control weapon. Quartermaster, Pyro Heavy, Bruin Pivot, the Choreo Eagle's Eye, and the Ivanov Woodstock. This provides you a extremely easy to control and hyper damaging weapon. And I think that right now, if it wasn't for the Detir, the Puliamot would be taking over pretty much the entire long range meta. And honestly, it still probably should, because the Puliamot is absolutely nasty, massive magazine, and it's hard to really compete with it. And then when you get off that, you're gonna start getting into the weirdnesses that we have been receiving. This is the Cast-Off LSW, and it was what brought in the Bracefire HC Grip that you unlock at level 7 here in Season 6. This is the first of the 2 chainsaw builds. If you remember the gun from Modern Warfare 2019, it had a chainsaw grip which allowed you to tack stance fire that one. This is that basically returning. This gun is absolutely nutty. Not only is its TTK highly reliable, but you also get a extremely fast strafe speed while doing it, allowing you to be hyper aggressive with a massive magazine. And this one can take down a lot of SMGs just in the sheer fact that you can pressure them way faster than they can pressure you, and getting in and out of cover and firing continuously with massive mags. The benefit of running this LMG over the one I'm going to show you next is the reload speed with sleight of hand is less than a second. It is by far the most oppressive reload I've ever seen in a game, especially for an LMG. Even without sleight of hand, the reload is extremely quick as you just pop a mag up underneath there and doesn't require any additional animations. And this gun will absolutely shred players on both Big Map and on Rebirth, but most specifically, it's going to be a nuisance for Rebirth. And then we're going to get into the king of the chainsaw builds, which is the Tacky Volvere. Now, this attachment, the Bracefire HC, again, it does insane things for your ADS movement speed. 6.1 right here is what my ADS movement speed is with this and the rest of the build. Meaning when I'm strafing a tack stance, it goes up even further because you get about a 10% boost in tack stance. And then I'm running this with Stalker, so I get another 10% strafe boost. And if you want to go one step further, you can run that with also the Resolute perk to get another 5% when you get shot, making you so incredibly hard to hit. It's insane. So this one is the Tacky Volvere. This one is the best of the tack stance ones, not only because it has an insane tack stance speed of 6.1 to begin with, but also because its TTK is better and its overall tack stance spread is down to a 1.0, which makes it absolutely just pinpoint accurate, low recoil, high movement speed, and just overall just highly oppressive as well. And this is one I would recommend most if you're going to go into the tack stance build, unless you just really want to experience the really fast reload of the Cast-Off LSW. And then we're going to get into the honorable mentions here on the LMGs. Realistically, if you're on top of Rebirth Island, the Bruin MK9's TTK is nothing to laugh at. It's pretty reliable and you can get some good fights with it, both the regular one and the conversion kit. And then finally, the TAC Eradicator, which holds probably one of the most impressive long-range meta effectivenesses with the Hyper Burst at the beginning, and if you put it into single shot, it goes to 75 damage per shot on headshots, meaning you have a hyper damage single shot, really fast bullet velocity. You can max this thing out at about 1300. I think you might even be able to get it all the way up to 1500 on its bullet velocity, but just absolutely a top-notch build as well. On to the Marksman class. No one's going to be surprised by this, but the #1 Marksman is the Kar98. The Kar98 has solidified itself as a Marksman sniper, and it is still probably one of the best marksmans in the game, and it is probably one of the best snipers in the game at the same time. But because it's in the Marksman category, we're going to go ahead and cover it. By the way, if you didn't know, Sniper and Marksman in Call of Duty is only separated by the idea if it comes with iron sights or a scope. If it comes with a scope, it is a Sniper. If it comes with iron sights, it is a Marksman. So if you've ever wondered, there you go. Sonic Suppressor, Precision Gewehr, Razorhawk, Choreo 2.5, and High Grain. This gets you your best bullet velocity, that gets you best one-shot range, and overall just a hyper-controllable marksman rifle with a good ADS speed. Can't beat it. Kar98 is where it's at. My favorite marksman rifle, the MCW 6.8. This one sits with an insane 1700 bullet velocity. This can reach 2000 if you actually swap over and use the Sonic Suppressor and a couple other things like the Tempest Predator barrel. But this build right here is highly accurate, good damage, and a massive magazine. 60 round drum running a absolutely incredible TTK. I've got 1100 on headshot damage. Again, this one will drop people in 3 to the head, and then I believe it's 6 to the body. Very controllable and a very, very good sniper support weapon. And by sniper support on this one, specifically, you're gonna help your snipers be able to whittle them down, so even body shots will be able to drop them in one hit. And then we're going to move into the last one, which is one I did not ever expect to say that is a good one, and that is the DM56 Jack Signal Burst. The burst now, because of a bunch of changes and the overall stability and the benefits that come with the Quartermaster, makes the burst hyper lethal, and this is probably going to be one of your better, if you want to risk yourself with the sniper ammo category, this one is going to be one of your better marksman rifles for the Rebirth Island. The Hyper Burst does insane amount of damage in one go. They stay all the shots really close to each other, meaning if you catch anybody sleeping, this will put them down in absolutely no time. If we're going to get into the honorable mention section on this one, there isn't one. They all suck. Don't use them. Digging into the sniper category, there isn't a lot to choose from unless you really want to have terrible bullet velocity, but let's go ahead and look at it. Up first, we have the Cat AMR. The Cat AMR was the first sniper to come out that was allowed to one-shot all the time without any crazy sort of requirements since the Modern Warfare 2 era. We will be looking at the Sonic Suppressor, the High Grain rounds, the Endless AS7, which gives you a bonus to your ADS speed and stability, Tactical Stock, which gives you ADS, and the Ephemeral Quick Bolt, which is going to let you fire faster. This is a hyper staple, decent bullet velocity, but constantly one-shot sniper rifle. This is for the old faithful kind of players that really just want something that hits hard consistently, and overall you can rely on it. You're not going to be hitting the longest shots in the world, but if you're looking for something that is at least reliable, this is it. Off to the second one, which is the XRK Stalker. This is essentially enough the big brother to the Kar98. Unfortunately enough, the Kar98 does most of this better, with the exception of the XRK Stalker has a better bullet velocity. Sitting at 1230 on a lot of its builds, it can go a little bit higher depending on how you want to build it, but most of the time about 1230 is going to be about where you're going to see it, I think. Actually, that may even be the highest possible one. Oh no, 1284 with high grain, but you lose, or high velocity, but you lose some of your effective range. Again, this one is a Sonic Suppressor, Vision 60, high grain rounds, Endless AS7, and then the Stalker Light Bolt. And then if you've been in any of my streams, you know that my favorite sniper is the Moors. If you are not using the Moors with the Photonic Charge Barrel, you are absolutely throwing for yourself. The Photonic Charge Barrel at full charge hits 1600 meters per second. You can run that with the anti-material slugs to allow you to one headshot at all ranges and basically one headshot pin through almost anything if you can hit them. The pin damage goes up with Photonic Charge, meaning you can pin through more things, and the thing has one of the best speeds as well. I'm running with a Thermo Optic 9 because everybody relies on the absolute smokes all the time, but you can run that as well with the Intless AS7 if you want to get an even faster ADS speed as well. This is the king of sniping. You see the things called up there right there, and if you want to be the best sniper in the game, I recommend running this as it will help you absolutely demolish lobbies. Again, with the honorable mentions, there really isn't one. If you really want to run the MCPR, the Victus, or the Imperium with explosive rounds, you're going to have about a 500 bullet velocity and a terrible time. It's really just not worth doing. And with that, carves out the best, most effective options for you inside of Season 6 Call of Duty Warzone. If there is something that I missed, obviously feel free to tell me what your favorite weapon is right now inside of Season 6. Again, these were the options that are just best in class for their general usages. I haven't gone into sniper supports specifically or some of the more niche options as well. That will be for videos here in the future. So make sure if you enjoyed this, subscribe and make sure to turn on that little bell. But having the best guns in the game doesn't mean everything if you can't land your shots. So if you're looking for a quick guide for settings, I've got you right here.